CFM Radio.
CFM Radio, we are live on this beautiful Wednesday. I am Vector, your host, with my DJ co-host who plays the best video game music for us today, alongside the greatest video game, or the best video game music and news headlines of the day. Drix, aka DJ Benham, how are you?
Thanks, Vector. As always, you're too kind. I'm doing great, man. I'm in second in my pinball league, and finals are coming up this weekend, so I'm very excited. So I'm pretty much right behind the guy everybody needs to study.
So how confident?
It's been a good time, but you know what that means is what's that?
How confident are you?
Oh, the last two leagues I've came out in fourth, and I've taken a couple trophies for fourth place, but we'll see. Pinball is a game of it's skill and luck, and you got to apply the right strategies at the right time. It's all about that execution. It's just as important when not to flip as when to flip, and if you're not nudging, or kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic, if you're not trying to soft cheat, you're not playing the game right. So every machine's different, and if you didn't tilt, you didn't try.
And I gotta say, Drix, as someone who's played Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and a lot of other card games, I'm gonna be honest with you, games like UFS, Warhammer 40K trading card game, old throwback for those of you who played it. I gotta say, hey, everybody, like you said, if you're not tilting, you're not trying. Everybody knows that there's some sort of technique or some sort of soft cheating, or maybe just some sort of overt cheating that everyone just does in anything.
Yeah, the meta.
Yeah, the meta to the meta. The meta. Here's what I like about. Here's what I like about the meta. Not to take your pinball, not to take your pinball league and turn it into something else, but I like to think this idea of meta, where people, especially in our space of gaming, people think like, oh man, I'm playing Street Fighter, like this character's meta. You know what I mean? These top three characters are
yes.
meta. It's like
this Armored Core build, with Zimmermans and Songbirds, grenades and lasers.
But you know what? You
the PvP victory.
You know what's really meta? You know what's really going to get you the PvP victory? If you could have the right macros on your controller, and you can't get that detected as cheating.
Nice.
Anybody who's serious will tell it to you. Why do you think the FGC, the more serious players, are slowly moving away from traditional controllers and moving towards all button controllers? Just controllers with all buttons.
Oh yeah, like you're playing a fighting game on a keyboard with arrow keys. Huh? It's not the worst way to do it.
No, it's not. It's really not.
Yup.
And
little macros in MOBAs and like Dota, like you need to have one assigned for like certain items. You don't get a button assignment for neutral items in Dota. So if you need to activate it or target it, you're gonna want to save those precious moments from moving your mouse around and clicking on screen. You're gonna want to target a little faster than that.
No, absolutely. It's the same thing in any. There is a I guess a controller meta or a layout meta in almost any game, any serious game that has or a legacy game or a legacy genre of game that has stood the test of time will have something reminiscent of that. Fighting games used to be sticks, then it went to these hitbox style controllers. RTSs had the hotkeys, not for just your units, but for specific locations on the map, like map hotkeys, like make sure you have a hotkey for base 1 and base 2, not just your command centers, but the specific places on the map itself. So, there's always these little
rally points.
Yes. And then there's always these little wrinkles. You know what I mean? The small wrinkles in the gameplay that give it the depth and the mechanical, I guess, meatiness that gets often overlooked when people like you talk about meta in like on like an online forum or like social media. It's like, oh man, the meta is this character. Well, then just pick them. It's like, well, it's usually not that easy.
Nope. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Exactly. Hey, you know what?
It all depends on your skill.
And that's just how it is. It all depends on that skill. So,
yeah. But what I was getting at with that pinball this Saturday was Mother Monday is coming back. Yeah, so I'm, once again driven to get through that SNES classic RPG. Had a great time on the last stream, posting some clips, and yeah, what a wacky and all-around inspiring RPG Earthbound is.
And you know what? A surprisingly entertaining watch, because man, oh man, is it a fucking nail biter, Drix. I gotta tell you, there are these moments. Last Mother Monday, the reason why I ask you every week, is Mother Monday gonna come back? And I'm happy that you jumped in and you're just like, hell yeah, Mother Monday is coming back. Because Drix, just the last stream, you had moments of intense nail-biting tension where you're fighting bosses. You're not just bosses, just random enemies that get out of control. The slimes, the other guys that use like the psychic drain. You know what I mean? Like, and then you're you're allowed to save people from dying as their HP is rolling down. Drix, not very many turn-based RPGs are very entertaining to watch as a spectator. But I have to say, Earthbound is not one of those games. It's very entertaining.
There's always those psychedelic battle backgrounds too.
Oh yeah.
If you're into visualizers, it really pushed those Super Nintendo graphics. I think they used something called like Mode 7 or something to like emulate 3D effects as best they could. Kind of like how F-Zero kind of appears 3D with like a horizon and a landscape, but it's all just
Ghosts and Goblins too.
Yeah, like the lava effects and stuff. Some games really pushed it, but yeah, I just like looking at the backgrounds and oh man, the sky runner, sky running across the desert sands and things. It's a good time, wacky story, a lot of comedy with the we just finished the Mr. Saturn in Saturn Village and
Saturn Village.
You get to watch me struggle to read that weird font that shows up after that, and yeah, so quirky.
It's funny too. A lot of people won't know, but I remember it. Earthbound came with a strategy guide. It was an expensive game because it came with a big, thick guide.
Yeah, something rare to collect if you can still find one of those.
So there was a lot. That game is cryptic as hell, and even when it came out, people didn't really expect people to make it for the game to be intuitive, right? They kind of just expected it to be like, well, people are gonna get messed up, especially with a lot of people don't know this today. The perception of Americans aren't good at games, so they need to be easy. That's why we get games like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest and Doki Doki Panic as Mario 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not the lost levels.
Them lost levels ain't even that hard, Drix.
Yeah, not really the platforming side-scrolling Mario guy either. I'd get frustrated even in the first Mario, but we got NES World Championship Classic Edition, to really train
right?
on those.
So I think, Drix, we're just gonna hop right into the news, right?
But yeah, you had quite a Sonic stream earlier today, didn't you?
Oh, right. Yeah, hold on. You're right. I need to address that. I need to address my Sonic stream because, man, oh man, I did indeed have quite the Sonic stream this morning. If you missed it, I'm pulling a double today. I played some Sonic on CFM over on our Twitch channel, CFM on Twitch. Was a really good time. Got through the whole third island. I didn't think I would do that, Drix. I didn't think I would just go through the whole damn thing, but I did.
Yeah, you got to a little Sonic Spinball Land too, didn't you?
Yeah. One of the mini games to advance actually to the next island was like you needed a pinball. I like the line in the game where he's like, hey man, I don't know about you, but all of this stuff seems really ancient, and now, but I know pinball when I see it. So are you telling me that the love of pinball predates like civilization? So I was like, that one made me think of you, Drix. I was like, damn, it might just, if my buddy Drix has anything to say about it.
Yeah. Ball in motion, makes the world go away.
Yeah, right. Pushes the world forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, we've got a good bit of news to cover today, but I don't think we have anything super heavy.
Yeah, no layoffs. Every week without layoffs is a good week.
Is a good week. No layoffs, no giant gaming revelations, no Todd Howard interviews.
Yeah, no Phil Spencer or Matt Booty.
No Xbox people. But now, Drix, I will say the one thing that we have talked about is we've been covering the apparent disappearance of physical gaming media here on the show, and it seems like Matt Piscatella of Circana is making the prediction that Sony and Nintendo will follow soon after Xbox.
Yeah, that's not something I like to hear, but we've definitely been reporting on how Xbox really wanted their console to be just digital only and all in on Game Pass, or we exit the gaming industry, right? So that might have some consequences.
Oh, he says this over on X, Piscatella does, where he replies to a post about the limited run games release of the Tomb Raider trilogy. The original quote is, quote, one reminder that the Xbox version of this release is not planned for traditional retail. So if you want it, this is truly your last chance. With Piscatella chiming in with, folks should probably just get used to this, no physical Xbox versions across the market sooner rather than later. And when another post comments on the disappearance in Brazil, it prompts Piscatella to continue with, quote, yep, PS give it another gen, with Nintendo another 2.
Wow, yeah, it's almost like a pressing of vinyl. You never know when they're going to press some more, so
yeah,
get them while it's hot.
I guess so, especially when you got the people from Limited Run Games coming out and saying that's not going to be a traditional release. Drix, they team up with Best Buy, and you could pretty much go into Best Buy and get any Limited Run game that you could think of within reason, right? The ones that aren't super duper popular. But if that's not planned even for a release like that, then that Piscatella might be onto something.
Yeah, he's giving us fair warning, and it might be time to stop laughing.
Yeah, and that means
if something is out now and if you want to hang on to it forever, if you want to be the purveyor of that game for posterity, then go pick up that physical copy.
Yeah, that means if you're listening, that means you got to go pick up those physical games. I get it. PC left physical copies behind a long time ago, but if you have a PlayStation, Spider-Man 2 is on the disc, Final Fantasy 16 is on the disc, full game on the disc. You have a lot of different options. God of War, full game on the disc. Lots of different options for your gaming preservation, your own library. Because at the end of the day, a game like Helldivers 2, like you're seeing on the screen, isn't gonna be a game that you'll probably be able to play into the 20 years into the future because it's all online. But you'll be able to play God of War if you have the disc.
Yep. All your favorite single player storytelling adventures and memories you want to share with your kids maybe and pass on to the next generation of gamers. Yeah, they're going to want to hang on to things like that with or without the internet access.
Right.
Portion of it.
Right, Trix. And you know what? That goes for a lot of other media too. If you want that media, movies are a big deal because if you are in any sort of cinephile, you will understand that streaming in 4K is nowhere near the same experience as getting a Blu-ray and watching it on a 4K player.
Yeah, you're always at the mercy of bandwidth when streaming.
So make sure that,
kind of like we are here.
Yeah, right. Make sure that all of you guys are getting your games that you actually want to keep and you could see yourself playing into the future on disc. It's like Piscatella is saying, you've got about one more generation for Xbox. This is the generation for Xbox. One more generation for PlayStation, and give Nintendo another 2.
Yeah. Nintendo, they always like to do things a little differently. And, if they got a point to prove, they'll prove it.
Yeah, true. And you know what? Nintendo really has always made toys, not really games.
Yeah, exactly.
And right before we're gonna get to some music in a minute here, but we're gonna squeeze another headline in. And Drix, I just gotta ask you really quick before we jump into this: are you a Steam user?
Oh yeah, big time. Can't play Dota 2 without Steam.
And have you perhaps purchased a game that you have never played on Steam that just sort of sits there in your library?
Oh man, one of our Game of the Year picks from last year, Lethal Company, the first one that comes to mind. I got that one super on sale, but man, those sales, once they get that price low enough, it is really enticing.
I don't blame you. I've got quite a few of those kinds of games, but it seems like we're not alone because this headline from PC Games N is, quote, Steam users have spent $19 billion on games that they've never played.
Yes. I mean, of course. Why not? Especially as a purveyor of emulation. If you could just show me like the cover art of the whole library of like the discography of like NES, Genesis, Super Nintendo games, that's part of the joy of being a gamer is just, walking into your study or your mansion's library and just gazing upon the collection and being like, yes, the world is at my fingertips. I truly am remarkable.
Whether that collection be a physical bookshelf or that collection be a list of games on Steam, you must be the man in the study.
Yes. Just resting with your cigar or your tobacco pipe by your hearth and just enjoying your collection.
Oh,
your
gosh.
hard drive full of games you may or may not have even installed yet.
Oh,
but,
God.
A lot of us generally just have more adulting to do than playing video games, unfortunately. But
ain't that the truth?
Doesn't mean we don't want our collections.
Ain't that the truth? Hey, you know what? From the article, quote, out of all the time registered on Steam accounts in the world, only 10% or about 73 million in Steam ID Finder's database are public. Based on data from those accounts, we calculate that collectively there's around 1.9 billion slash 1.4 billion, $1.9 billion slash 1.4 billion pounds worth of games that have been purchased and then never played even a single time. Times that by 10 to roughly account for all Steam profiles that are not public, and you arrive at around 19 billion, more than the gross national product of Nicaragua, Niger, Chad, or Mauritius. Oh my God. And for anyone listening, that headline again is, quote, Steam users have spent $19 billion on games that they have never played. Because, Drix, they have a widget on this page to help you calculate your quote-unquote pile of shame.
Pile of shame. Shame on you, gamers. But I think I saw a post on a Dota 2 community, and yeah, they blame free games like Dota 2, Counter-Strike 2, Apex, Valorant. They take full responsibility for your pile of shame. They're like, you know what? Yeah, we're the reason why, because we have such addictive multiplayer going on our free-to-play games. Like, why would you ever need to play anything else?
Oh my God, that's so true. Hey, listen, man, I can't say that's not true.
There, you know.
I can't say that's not true. Paladins on my account has like 700 hours played.
Yeah, rookie numbers. Got to boost those numbers. You'll
Hey,
never
you know,
be good enough at those free-to-play esports.
Yeah, seriously, you'll never be good enough. You'll never. Hey, you know
How
what?
are we gonna go to the championship?
How am I gonna go to the international like this?
Yes, exactly. Not without assigning your neutral items to a macro.
Oh my God. You know what, Drix? I'm down. I'm just ready to rock out. What do we got playing?
Right now we got a special arrangement of a song from Snatcher. This is a little Konami Club guitar arrangement of the theme of Isabel.
The theme of Isabel. Here we are, CFM Radio. We have new games coming up next, coming at you live. Clusterfuck Media, CFM Radio.
Gaming news. Clusterfuck Media. CFM Radio.
CFM Radio, we are back.
We are live. That was a first song in that set was from Sonic CD called "You Can Do Anything," because indeed you can do anything. And then the track following that was from Vigilante 8 Second Offense called "Go Team Fast." You can always count on the Vigilante 8 soundtrack to give you some funky grooves.
That is true. And you know what? Because that game, Drake, I don't know if you remember that game. It was pretty funky.
Oh yeah, no, you don't have a 70s theme without some funk, some disco, some soul. You know, one of the special moves was a disco ball coming out the back of the trunk and just zapping every car around and juggling them in the air. It was one of the most annoying things to ever get hit by. It was like an infinite fight.
I know. It was insane to it was insane to play. It was like insane to play against, just like the fucking aliens. The guy that shot the aliens at you. He called in the UFOs. That dude was like the same thing. It was so gnarly. Shout out to Joseph Ledesma in the chat. Thanks for tuning in again, brother.
Man, back once again. Welcome, cuz. Love you.
Thank you. And so now we've got some new releases. First one we have is Neo Sprint. And this one's from Atari.
Yeah. I mean, we already know it's going to do better than E.T., you know?
And from the Steam page, quote, "The exhilarating Atari racing classic Sprint series returns. Neo Sprint zooms back to life as a single-screen arcade racer for up to 8 players, paired with a robust track builder and intuitive sharing tools, ensuring a racing experience that satisfies speed demons and architects alike." And Drake's Neo Sprint hits PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Switch, and PC tomorrow, Thursday, June 27th. Drake's, this game looks kind of cool, I'm not going to lie. This like old school style racer.
Yeah, no. You know, Mickey Thompson's off-road challenge, I still to this day love seeing those 3 steering wheels stick out of an arcade cabinet. And yeah, funny old Joseph is in the chat. We used to play that on the Sega Genesis too. That was one of our favorite, genres to visit, is the top-down racing. Are you gonna boost your engine with your winnings, or are you just gonna buy a bunch of nitro that trigger very strategically and put you in first place? So you add a bit of modern construction mechanics, the ability to design and share your own racetracks, multiplayer online. Yeah, a lot of fun. Not kind of like over on clusterfuckedmedia.com, there's a review for a TurboGrafx game that got ported to Switch called Moto Rotor.
Yes.
And yeah, that's another good time too. But I would love to see these like top-down like single screen racing games start to come back, and yeah, I'd have a lot of fun playing these with my friends.
Maybe with a the track editor that this game comes with, that might be something that ignites something like that for people. Because Drix, I gotta tell you, nothing gets people into what they're doing than customizing every facet of it. And I think a track editor for this kind of racing game is perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And a little bit of that, it seems like there's some story too. You got some speech going on, like between racing, maybe some rivalry,
some banter
popping off between some drivers. Will have some fighting game style lore behind them.
Destined races.
Yes.
All right, that is Neo Sprint coming at you tomorrow. That is June 27th. For pretty much everything. If you have a video game console, you could probably play Neo Sprint. Next up,
all over.
We have Luigi's Mansion 2 HD remake on the Switch. And Drix, this one is the heavy hitter for the week.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking first-party Nintendo games. Even if it is a remake, it's a GameCube port, and I don't think there's enough time to get all of those games ported, so you might as well enjoy this one because it's definitely a hit.
Actually, this one is the 3DS port. The GameCube one is I actually think that one might be stuck on the Wii U, but this one is originally on the 3DS. Now it's in HD on the Switch. And from the eShop page, quote, "The magical dark moon that hangs over Evershade Valley seems to calm the ghosts that live there. But when it suddenly breaks apart, the once friendly ghosts become unruly. Luigi must stumble into action and find his courage to restore the dark moon to its rightful place in the sky." Again, that hits Nintendo Switch tomorrow, June 27th. And Drix, I don't know if a lot of people played this one because it was on the 3DS.
Yeah, actually, you're completely right. I was a bad video game journalist right now. I totally missed that because it was on the 3DS and not on the GameCube.
Hey, man.
So, I'll definitely want to add this one to my Switch library.
Yeah, and you know what? When you do, let me know, because this one has like a crazy I don't know if it's gonna have it in this, but it's gonna in the remake. But there in the original one, there was like a crazy multiplayer mode that was like a tower survival, where like you started at like a bottom of the tower and you worked your way up with like a group of Luigis and just saw how far you could get.
Huh. Infinite survival mode of Luigi ghost busting, huh?
It was
that
fun.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Very nice.
And finally, that's Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon again hitting. That one is hitting us tomorrow, June 27th. That's Thursday. And finally, we have something for the anime fans. This one is Spy X Anya, or Spy Cross Anya. I don't know how you say it. Operation Memories. From the PlayStation Store, quote, "Based on the popular anime and manga series, Anya Forger has received a new assignment from school. Create a photo diary of memories. On weekdays, head to class in the morning, then enjoy family time in the evening. On weekends, visit all sorts of exciting places, like the beach or art museums, in search of subjects worthy of photographing." I was going to say photography there. Spy X Anya also features over 15 minigames. Enjoy over 15 minigames, including ones inspired by the anime series and ones created specifically for this game. Fight to stay in sync with your special training. Ride Bond as you play Spy, and use Anya's telepathic powers to read opponents' cards in Tycoon. Plus, a lot more features on here, Drix, on this page, such as character customization and relationship building mechanics for Anya and her family.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one of the things that I think makes the anime so popular and well received is the balance between like wholesome and cute things and then like action and drama and suspense. And it seems like they've really got this all wrapped up in a neat little package with some like, you know, Persona style like visual novel kind of like, you know, they seem to have a nice little rotation going in like the day-to-day activities of Anya Forger and family. So yeah, I mean, cute things as well as action-packed dangerous things, and who knows, there can be twists happening at any moment, but you know, when it comes down to it, you just want to take some nice photographs so you can remember things by.
You know what? And that's true. And at the end of the day, even so, you're right. You're 100% right, Drix. Some of these visual novels can get pretty intense. Anyone who's played a Phoenix Wright game can tell you that. So, and for all of you guys wanting
oh, yeah.
to... Yeah, right?
If it's anything like the anime, it'll pop.
Oh, it'll definitely pop off. And anyone who wants to know, Spy X Anya Operation Memories hits the PS4, PS5, and the Switch this Friday, June 28th.
Weebs.
Weeb Power and Drix, we have our final story for the night, but you know what? We gotta jam out to some more music. What do you got for us?
You know what? I'm gonna hit you with at Doom's Gate from Doom on the 3DO.
Oh, the 3DO Doom. Let's go.
Clusterfucked Media. CFM Radio.
To the center of my Super Mario adventure. My girl's trapped on the other side of town, so I'm moving in leaps and bounds. Folks around my way think I'm strange, but there's a villain to blame. Even my mom, she thinks I'm crazy, but I got to rescue Daisy. Super Mario Land. Back off my Lisa Stansfield trip, and I'm rejuvenated and I'm remixed. I took planes, trains, and automobiles, and for real got ill. In Brazil, I'm the Wizard of Oz while on tour, and got war in Singapore, and I'm eating sushi in Japan, but there ain't no place like Super Mario Land. Check this out. She's my lady, my pride and joy. Cause to her I'm a hero, not a toy boy. So I'm climbing mountains, swinging through trees, and even facing killer bees down secret tunnels in dark rooms. Met with the creature from the Blue Lagoon. Folks out there might think that I'm crazy, but I got to rescue Daisy.
CFM Radio.
CFM Radio, we are back.
Man, you could be eating sushi in Tokyo, Japan, but there's just no place quite like Super Mario Land.
It's very true, you know. Sarasa Land is quite the place.
Yeah, I've been pretty obsessed with that song since I found it.
It's good.
Makes me glad I'm from the late 1900s, because there will never be anything like it.
The late 1900s, yes, indeed. As children of the 1900s, we remember what it was like to play Super Mario Land.
Yup. You know, and then the ambassadors of funk were tapped by Nintendo themselves to release a banging house track of all things.
That's
What a time to
right.
be alive.
Truly what a time to be alive. And you know what, Drix, truly a time to be alive, because finally, Drix, do you remember Stellar Blade?
Oh yeah. No, she was hard to forget, man.
Yeah,
That strong female protagonist.
indeed. Very, very, very strong female protagonist. Well, you know, I don't have any B-roll ready for us right now, but Stellar Blade, that little game with the strong female protag, the folks over at Push Square seem to have a bit of info from the developers about the success of the game.
Yeah. Finally, a successful launch that may have hit more targets than they missed, right?
Sounds like it, because the headline from Push Square is, quote, PS5 fan favorite Stellar Blade sold over 1 million copies, dev estimates. From the article, quote, in a press briefing, CFO An Jae-woo said, since its launch, it has ranked first in sales in major console markets such as the US and UK, and cumulative sales are estimated to have exceeded 1 million units. It was said that the first step as a large global IP was smooth, and that the PC version of Stellar Blade is now being considered. Reading further, quote, so too is further DLC for the base game and a full sequel, both of which appeared as under review in a slide as part of the presentation. Shift Up has spoken a lot about what's to come for the Stellar Blade, with multiple new outfits already added free of charge. A photo mode is said to be in production, along with a collaboration with the developer's previous title, Nikke, Goddess of Victory. And Drix, I don't know if you know Nikke, Goddess of Victory, but that's a big title over there.
No.
Over in Korea, where Shift Up hails from.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a predecessor to this, but you know, I can definitely get behind some free and fashionable updates. Who doesn't like more outfits in their wardrobe?
And you know, for Stellar Blade, that's pretty much the whole thing, right? That's like the whole part of the game was like dressing her up, right? Dressing up Eve, because one of her suits that's like it's like a nude suit, but it makes the game harder.
Yeah, you're definitely suffering not having enough armor, taking on those crazy aliens.
Yeah.
And in the demo, I was just barely getting the hang of the combat, and it seems like the game definitely scored a lot more hits than I did playing it.
Truly, the same here. Again, I also struggled with the combat system. I felt like you had a little bit of like, it was really wonky, because there were like moments in the combat that were emphasized like in game, but like mechanically they actually didn't really mean a lot when you nailed the maneuver. Like, it wasn't as fancy as you would think, like, or as impactful as the maneuver itself would suggest, or the difficulty of pulling it off would suggest it would be. Like, it didn't seem as useful. It just seemed like you should just do a bunch of quick hit combos and just try to kill everything as fast as possible. So, but I mean, whatever. People seem to like Stellar Blade a lot.
some of the more stylish moves didn't really have a lot of impact, did they? And I just didn't have. I was lacking patience in the demo, where if the enemies rolling back for a hit, they do it slow, and you kind of got to be a little patient. But it was cool. It was interesting and different.
I'll say it like this: I think Stellar Blade is probably a great game to get on sale.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely a visual spectacle to add to your PS5 library.
It's right up there with Spider-Man 2, I think. It looks incredible.
Yeah, your jaw drops just right at the intro.
Yeah, you're seeing Final Fantasy 16. This is another game that's right up there in presentation. Drix, the PS5. A lot of people say the PS5 has no games on the PS5. But I can name a couple of games off the top of my head that look pretty impressive and play pretty well.
Yeah, I'm knee deep in Final Fantasy 16 right now. I really like how Helldivers 2 is looking, even with the occasional bugs that can't be shot and exterminated. And yeah, I'll probably pick up Baldur's Gate 3 next on the PS5. That's what I'm kind of feeling out towards when I grab my next AAA title and maybe even try to secure it on a physical disc.
Hey, and you know what?
Loving the graphics update. Even playing PS4 games on PS5, might even drop the $10 to get good old Grand Theft Auto 5, pull out Old Reliable. And enjoy that at 60 frames per second.
And hey, like I said in a previous edition of CFM Radio, you don't really feel it until you make the leap. But when you make that leap, it's a lot. You could feel how much more power is in your machine. Everything is running a lot smoother. Like you said, even the PS4 games on the PS5 are running way better. Like it is pretty crazy how the jump, how crazy the jump forward is. I'm playing Fallout 76 on and it's the PS4 version, and I'm playing it on the PS5, and man, it's so smooth. Like, you saw some Fallout 76 footage earlier on the show. That was at 30 frames. If you play the game on a PS5, it'll run at 60 frames, and man, it's so smooth.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Anything that kind of chugged a little bit or might have suffered from some frame loss on the PS4, yeah, pop that bad boy into your PS5 and see how smooth it goes.
Another good one to try that out with is Street Fighter 6.
Oh yeah, no, Street Fighter 6 is really pushing it on the PS4. But yeah, it looks great on PS5. Diablo 4 definitely benefits from the increase in hardware. And, a couple games like Armored Core 6, Diablo 4, Elden Ring even, they sold you a PS5 version with your PS4 version too. So I had already started my library before I even got my console.
Yeah, they get you in there. And
that's what won them the console war, I hear.
Yeah, right. The digital library. Hey, we'll go. Before we jump into the digital library idea, because before we leave tonight, we got a couple more minutes. I actually do want to talk about that idea, and I do want to talk about the Xbox approach to things. But before that, let's go really quick back to the article from Push Square. The article from Push Square is translating an article from a Korean gaming news outlet. And when you look into that, one of the things that they actually go a lot into and they start talking a lot about is how Nikkei Goddess of Victory was their big push into mobile gaming and big push into the world of gaming, mobile gaming, and making their name known on that end. And now Stellar Blade is their big push into AAA gaming as AAA franchise creation.
Yeah, I mean, you make a hit game, might leave you with a bit of pocket change to work on the next one.
But one of the things that that makes me interested in Shift Up and other companies like Shift Up specifically. You were talking earlier, Baldur's Gate 3 might be your next game that you pick up. We'll talk Baldur's Gate 3 right now. Larian, they're another small indie studio, right? That they're making that jump into AAA developer stardom, let's say, right?
Really? Yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely.
So when we're looking at the gaming industry landscape and we're looking at these large titanic games such as Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, you're seeing Mortal Kombat 1, and that actually hasn't been as well received as a lot of people might have liked it to be.
No.
Yeah. You're seeing games, this new Call of Duty, people are hyped, but the last Call of Duty was the worst scoring Call of Duty in about 10 years. You have these titanic shit. Diablo 4, you were talking Diablo 4. Hey, from what I hear, the Diablo 4 fan base isn't exactly in love with the changes that have been happening with the game. And new loot updates and stuff. I couldn't even tell you what the difference is. I'm just almost at the end there. Very interesting. So and I think this is one of those things. You're saying, Drix, you can't even understand the difference. You go in there and you just play the game. I think you have a lot. I think you're seeing that a lot.
For the loot.
Sure, right. I think you're seeing that a lot though, where you're having
not for the build math.
Yeah, right. And you're having these games like Stellar Blade that pretty much just cater to people like you, just like, fuck, I don't care about the fucking math. I just want to play the game.
Yeah, I just want to see something that looks cool and have a good time controlling it.
Right. Like, why would I want to do anything else when I'm playing it? Hey, it's like Reggie says, if it's not fun, what's the point?
What even is the point if it's not a little treat?
Exactly. And, in this world of live services and Game Pass, I'll say it, Game Pass quality releases, because it doesn't, we had a whole, I'll say it, I said it on the on the Xbox Game Showcase show, I'll say it again here. It's really hard for me to get hyped for these Xbox games, Drix, because there are a couple games that I want to play, and I'm thinking I might grab an Xbox by the end of the year, but we're already how many years into this console war? Me getting an Xbox right now won't fucking matter to Microsoft. Like,
no, they're not Capcom with a 3-year plan.
Right? Capcom, not just a 3-year plan. They're not Capcom. Very few are like Capcom who have a 3-year plan, went into this new gaming paradigm with a fresh perspective and are totally reaping the benefits of we reported on it, like at the top of the month. It was like they're seeing the biggest profits that they've seen in like 13 years.
Yeah, no, that's a great story. Because I just got my PS5. The first game I wanted to get was Final Fantasy 16, and I'm just getting into it like a year later, and there's just now like a DLC, so I'm gonna, as soon as I finish the game, then I might get the DLC. You just gotta, if your art is good, it'll get out there, and sometimes it just takes a little time. Think about your favorite bands that like broke up before they blew up. You know what I mean?
True. Very, very true, Drix. You make a really good point. And again, let's just go back to the Capcom approach, the 3-year plan. What was the plan? The diehards are going to come in first. They're going to come in. They're going to buy the game on day one because they want it. They want it, and they want to use the game, and they're viewing the game almost like a platform. So the people who are in there day one, they're waiting for the next level of content, because like Capcom said, those are probably the guys that are buying like your collector's editions or your deluxe editions that already have the DLC bundled in, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially when you're talking about your 6th sequel, I mean, more like 24th sequel if you're counting all the Street Fighter spin-offs and stuff.
And like editions.
There's going to be, you have like, Third Strike was the 3rd Street Fighter 3, right?
Shit. Seriously.
So, yeah, I mean, you've built your fan base, and they've done all the footwork. They've paid their dues. They've made hundreds of wooden arcade cabinets, for God's sakes. Like, somebody is listening.
And I think that I was gonna say, I think Drake's right there might be that like secret sauce that Capcom has. Capcom's been in the game for a long time, and not only has Capcom been in the game for a long time, they've been doing this pretty much white knuckle the whole fucking time. They've had hardware on their side with arcades. They've needed to iterate on their franchises annually with new characters and new enticing prospects for not just home gamers, but arcade owners as well. So you have this company with a really unique business perspective going into gaming as a whole. And you know what, Drix, I can say you saw it during Street Fighter V, even though the launch of Street Fighter V was absolutely disastrous. You could see that in there, they said right there, they made the statement, we're not going to do any more like Street Fighter V editions. There's not going to be you're not going to need to buy any extra Street Fighter V. This Street Fighter V will be the Street Fighter V. You just need to buy the extra characters and the seasons for it. And then look what happened later. They did do the Champion Edition release, but it was pretty much just a Game of the Year edition, right? Or a complete edition of the game. Where it's just like, all right.
Finally, the whole Street Fighter.
Yeah, like
you both the fighting and the street.
Hey, you know what? It was like this. You could have gotten in on day one and been following the game as it grew from nothing into something, or you
learning curve the Evo.
Right. Or you could just jump in Champion Edition with all the characters, all the DLC, all this other stuff for the low price of $60.
Yeah, it's never too late to polish it up.
Indeed. So, Capcom, I think they're the ones that, funny enough, you get people like Capcom and companies like Capcom who really learned from their hard times back in their own hard times back in the arcade, the death of the arcade days, I should say, the arcade extinction days. And they're coming into this new paradigm. And they're like, oh, okay, so people are looking at games like this now? Well, that's cool. We'll just structure our games to last like we've been talking about for 3 years. And Drix, you can see that they're pretty much the only ones that do it because no one else can get it right.
Yeah, so good on them. And they have that cool factor a lot of times. I mean, just scrolling past like classic, Capcom fighting artwork on the internet all the time. They know what they're doing, and I feel that way a lot about Sega too. Like there's just, Sonic's always had that cool factor, and a lot of their games and IPs, Yakuza's still going strong.
Yeah, like a dragon.
I mean, even they don't need to be making consoles to be just beloved in the hearts and minds of the fans. But yeah, there's kids out there who will tell you, whether they're like 8, 9, 12 years old, and they'll be like, you know what? Capcom's my favorite video game company because they're playing Monster Hunter Stories, or
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, exactly.
Street Fighter. Like
they may not even know like how rich and deep and cultured the history of the company is, but they know from what they see and also from what they play. Like, this is my favorite. I'm about it, and be a fan.
And hey, you know what, Drix? Talking about fans, and last thing I'll say before we go is, we talk a lot about legacy on the show, at least inadvertently. We talk a lot about how these brands, they really dig themselves in deep just for storms like this, and you're seeing really who actually has the roots and who doesn't. Because Drix, we're talking about Capcom, and they're not even done, dude. Are you gonna get the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Classics collection?
Oh yeah, free MVC 2. I mean, unfortunately, some emulators might be played a lot less, but we are going to be able to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 online with each other, legally, fully licensed on so many platforms, and PCs. Yeah, that's some of their best work right there, and it's almost worth it just to have a museum of the concept art that you can view and enjoy. But yeah, I definitely have a collection of a lot of that music. I'm a big fan of the quote-unquote lounge lizard Marvel vs. Capcom 2 jazz, the sweetest MIDI jazz ever made. That's definitely on one of the top 5 list of game soundtracks for me anyway. So yeah, get ready because we're gonna take you for a ride.
Absolutely, Drix. But you know what? Our ride here at CFM Radio is indeed over for the night. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, everybody who joined me earlier over on Twitch, twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch, for me playing day 5 of Sonic Frontiers. We really belted it out today. It was really, really good. And Drix is coming back with Mother Monday next Monday.
Right around 8 p.m., unless I get a little early start.
There you go, guys, and thank you, as always, for tuning in. CFM Radio, Wednesday nights, best video game music and news. That we are here for you. It is your source for all of the best of this amazing content, except I guess for playing it that we play called video games. Drix,
Yep.
I think it's time for us to go.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night, y'all.
Have a good night. CFM Radio.
CFM